Next speaker is a multi-talented person, Mark Hamalainen, an excellent karaoke singer, and also the co-executive director of the Longevity Biotech Fellowship. Thanks, Mark.
Excellent. I'm not sure about that. To start off, I think I have a video to play. You guys throw that up? All right. So hopefully you guys are maybe a little excited. Do we have any LBF members in the audience, sponsors, attendees? So yeah, I think working on longevity and trying to extend human lifespan is a really exciting thing to do, and we should, we should be proud of this. We shouldn't feel like we have to water it down. So we're building a community to help get more people into this, to get them excited, and yeah, to build, join, and invest in revolutionary longevity biotech companies. Why is outreach important? That's the topic of this session. I would say that we're still a very small minority, and we're trying to solve probably the hardest problem that humans have ever tried to solve, to cure aging, and so I think we need a lot more people, and we need people from other fields to join us. And so I was thinking in 2020 about how we could grow the field, and so I started thinking about, well, how did I get involved? And I also interviewed a bunch of people that are prominent in the field about how they got involved, and common thing was that they started off as being kind of an isolated weirdo that thought longevity was cool, but didn't have a community. And then they went to an event where they met their community and made friends and people and started working with people. And I'm bringing this up because that was the one that was for me. And actually, I think most of the people that I talked to, it was something to do with sense, something that Aubrey had done. Was the starting point for them. And then they felt like they were part of a community, which made it feel a lot more feasible that you could actually tackle this hard problem of aging. And so I was like, how can I reproduce that for as many people as possible? And so I started a thing called Less Death. And the Longevity Biotech Fellowship is actually the marriage of ODLB, which is a program Nathan Cheng was running. Some of you guys might know him. And I ran Longevity Summer Camp, which was a project of Less Death, which I was able to start with the support of Aubrey here. But Less Death was an in-real-life intensive retreat, which was reproducing that experience of going to Sense 2 that I had. ODLB was an online community that was a more extended thing that you could be an ongoing member of. And we realized that actually combining them together would be super, super powerful. So you go to this immersive retreat, you kind of get super excited, and then you become part of a community that's there to support you in this mission that we have together. So the way I think of it is that we're building a machine that prints longevity revolutionaries. Because that's what we need to do, right? This is a revolutionary project. And there's a couple different aspects to that, actually. The Longevity Biotech Fellowship is the sort of flagship program. We're also building a course because obviously Nathan and I and our team can only deal with so many people one-on-one, and so we need to scale up. The course will be unlimited access, and then we're also training, doing basically leadership training to sort of expand the Longevity Biotech Fellowship using local chapters all around the world. And this is the way it works, or at least the theory. We're trying to take inactive talent, which are people that think longevity is cool, that extending human lifespan is a great thing to work on, and we're building a machine that activates them, actually gets them to work, as was the point of the video. And so whether that's doing a startup, going to a lab, whatever it is. And then people that go through our programs can start up their own chapters in different places. We're starting up chapters. Roland here in the front row, who's very shy and probably doesn't want me to point him out, is one of the directors of our Germany chapter. But I'll go into more of that later. So who is our target audience? Like I said, inactive talent. People that think longevity is great, but they're not working on it. We want to get them all of the information, resources, and connections they need in order to have a successful career, and focus on it. And so that can be, I guess I should say, and that are mission aligned. And I'll get into more of what our sort of specific mission is later, maximum lifespan. They have to be very talented, but they don't have to be in bio, because there's a diverse set of skills that are needed for this problem. And they can be people that are completely new, or maybe they're already working in longevity biotech, but they could benefit from some acceleration, some connection. Maybe they need funding. They want to meet a co-founder. So community can be useful. And who else should join? Mentors and sponsors. If you come to one of our camps as a camp counselor, we call them, you get to meet all these excited, energized people and sort of help guide them and get their career started. If you're an investor, we have lots of people in our membership that are starting companies and looking for investment. You might be looking for a collaborator if you're an academic. And you can, there's a lot of ways to be involved. So I get excited by just the feedback we get from people. And so I wanted to highlight a few examples here. Mac Davis, who I guess is down in Prospera now, I was able to meet a clinical trial physician through ODLB. Dee Hu at Retro came to our summer camp. I think actually on the carpool to the summer camp, she already got a job offer. So it was, or maybe it was on the way back, I'm not sure. But we have Clara Fernandez, CEO of RX Longevity. She's actually generously offered to let us run one of our retreats at her property in Spain. So we're going to start expanding into doing actual retreats in Europe. I like this quote from Ash. For over a decade, I was just watching on the sidelines and didn't think I could add value to the longevity field. The fellowship completely changed my perspective. That's the kind of thing we're trying to make people realize that they're an agent. We want to convert, we want to create more live players, as Joe would call it. Here's a review from our most recent retreat from Ellen. Longevity Summer Camp was the most eye-opening, network-expanding, and awe-inspiring event I've had the pleasure of attending. Every person there was valued, listened to, and encouraged. And they're really fun because we bring people with a very diverse set of background skills, everything from different types of engineering, science, media, policy, nonprofit organization. So it's really, you get really interesting conversations. Paul Murray, who's working on a really important project, said, "It's been years since I felt this excited to work on something." He quit his job. He's helping us with one of our community projects. I'll get into that in a minute. Finding co-founders. Roland here, starting a local chapter. And the mentors and sponsors get a lot out of this too. Christian from BioAge is a big supporter of ours. Joe, we've been sending him a steady stream of high-quality candidates for his job positions. Peter Fedchev, Jero's another one of our sponsors. We really loved having him there. We did a really fun physics whiteboarding session. Investors, these are just kind of an example of the different types of sponsors that we have. Anastasia is a regular at our camps as well. Here's a few more. In the top left, you can see June Axup and Oki O'Connor, which some of you guys probably know. There are other two directors along with me and Nathan, so I wanted to highlight them. They've been critical to making this all happen. And actually, a lot of these people have been critical to making this happen. And it's all volunteers right now, actually. That's how much people are excited by doing this. Some of our sponsors, and I should also, of course, mention that without Aubrey, probably wouldn't exist. So we're trying to be a force multiplier. Right now, we've had 5 cohorts between ODLB, Less Death, and LBF, 1,500 applications, 375 alumni and growing. that you can see that's a 4-to-1 ratio, which means we don't accept everybody that applies. And that is because we really want mission alignment and talent. We want to invest our energy into people that are potentially going to be really high-impact live players. But those are still small numbers compared to the scale of the problem. So our ambition is to scale up a lot more than that. Matt mentioned changing from 100,000 molecules to 1 million molecules. We used to say 100,000 careers influenced, and I was like, nah, screw it. Let's go for 1 million. I think that's the order of magnitude that we need, the number of people we need working hard on this problem if we have a chance of succeeding in our lifetimes. And there was a slide earlier showing that longevity is like 1% of biotech. I think it would be great if we could get that to 50%. And not us directly, but through the cascading effects that we can have. Yeah, we're raising an army to extend maximum human lifespan. And that was another great, I liked Matt's slide showing the red line for squaring the curve and then the green line. And that's like an important difference in our community. We're really focused on the green line. Because I think longevity is a really big umbrella, everything from health and fitness through to like tissue engineering and gene therapy. But I'd say the lower impact you go, the more people are working on it. The higher impact you go, the fewer people are working on it. And I think that's a problem. I mean, obviously the financial incentives are kind of pushing people towards that. If you ask a lot of these people what they would prefer to be working on, they would prefer often to be working on high impact stuff. So it's not an easy problem to solve, but our community is focused on the highest impact end of the spectrum. I want to highlight that we are a community that is not about, if you come to one of our retreats, it's not just getting lectures. It's about co-working. It's about getting people to work. And so we really focus on community projects. So you'll come to the retreat, and we'll actually kind of put you to work. And I want to just highlight a couple of the projects that I like. There's quite a few of them, but I'm going to highlight a few. So the Longevity 0-to-1 course, which was actually beta tested at Zuzulu. This is a project of Kat and her executive assistant, Nathan Chang. So this is the one that will allow us to be unlimited access, because we're developing a lot of content through running the LBF, and we want to turn that into an unlimited access thing that will be not completely online. We want to subdivide people that take the course into like working groups where they can study together, so there will be some interactive element, which I think is really important. But yeah, it'll be the first version that we're working on right now will be like a 12-module. It's the kind of thing that you could actually binge on a weekend and get you up to speed on what's going on in longevity technology. Another important thing, if we're trying to extend maximum human lifespan, the rate of progress being too slow is one of the biggest problems. And so we ran a survey. This was actually at summer camp last year, not the last summer camp, but the one before. We had a workshop where people tried to figure out how could we even identify the bottlenecks of progress. And so that was the team there. And we actually decided to just survey the whole community. So we basically emailed and messaged on LinkedIn everybody in the community that we could find and got them to fill out a survey for us. And you can actually see the results. The preprint I think it'll be on bioRxiv on Monday, but you can actually see it now if you just go to longevitybottlenecks.org. And I'll just highlight a few things, but like the biggest bottleneck to progress overall was lack of funding was actually number 2. Validated biomarkers, like surrogate biomarkers for aging, was number 1. Slow, expensive, and poorly predictive models was, if you combine the 2 models models would be actually the biggest problem. I thought it was interesting that a lot of people asked for more public data sets. So anyways, I could spend a whole hour talking about the results of the survey, and we're going to make it an annual thing. And the publication's live, and there will also be an interactive website that'll be much sort of more user-friendly and digestible than just reading a paper. So that's, check out the website. Here's another project, which is, I guess, sort of similar to the longevity course, which is trying to like build that funnel, just making people aware that this is even something you can work on. In my time, I have not had a lot of success convincing somebody who's not interested in longevity to change their mind, but there's a lot of people who just don't even know it's a thing. And so making sure that everybody who might be interested knows about it, I think, is really important. And so we're working with the Safe Forever group. I don't know why, but there should be more showing on the slide. But go to safeforever.org. You can run a little Safe Forever campaign in your local area. It's a really fun way. You go out on the street and actually talk to people. It's kind of scary, but everybody who actually does it seems to usually have fun. So it's like you just have to like just do it. just find your friend who's the most extroverted to lead the charge. Let them lead the charge, and you'll have fun. Another outreach method that we've tried is going to conferences that are not longevity conferences. I like seeing a lot of you guys, but I also see a lot of the same faces at the conferences. And so we're like, why don't we just go to like non-longevity conferences and just set up a booth, organize. We went to SynBio Beta last year. We had a booth on the expo floor. We organized panel discussions. Joe was the moderator for one of them. And people really liked it, actually. It was like really well attended. I lost my voice talking to people at the booth. They just came to us. It was really convenient. John Cumbers, who's the CEO of SynBio Beta, is actually pretty hardcore into longevity and was super happy for us to go there and have a presence. And we want to do a lot more of this, actually. I probably am going to stop going to longevity conferences and just go to other conferences. And then, like I was saying, the exponential effect. So this is the longevity local chapters, the von Neumann machines of the LBF, where we basically train people to set up local versions of what we do in the parent organization. And these are the 6 most active ones, and there's a lot more coming. Some people are here. If you want to find out if there's a local chapter in your area, the website's not fully up to date, but you can also message me, and we'll be improving the websites to make it really easy to find your local chapters. And these are, again, working groups. They're not like a meetup where you just hang out and talk about the philosophy of longevity. We actually like treat them as like co-working meetings. So you go to a monthly thing, and you actually like work on one of our community projects together. And then also the chapter directors have a monthly meeting where we're building up the playbook, comparing notes, seeing what worked, what didn't. Yeah, so you can support our work. I think the number one way is probably a lot of you get contacted by people who say, how can I get involved? How can I help? And you might not always have a good answer for them. Send them to us. That's our job, is to find them ways to contribute. And sometimes it might be just taking somebody who contacted one person and putting them in touch with the other person. That's the better one. Sometimes they go through one of our programs. A lot of options. You can donate to us. You can sponsor us. We are definitely looking for that. You can volunteer. You can come be a camp counselor at one of our retreats. You can take the survey. We're going to be doing the survey, the bottleneck survey, annually, and it's super helpful. It might seem like it's only 15 minutes of your time, and the point is, for people that are coming into the field, it helps them decide where to put their efforts. Like, what are the things that are important to work on, which, like, if you're new to the field, it actually takes a lot of effort to figure that out. So this is trying to help those people out. Yeah, and you can email Mark or my co-founder Nathan at longbiofellowship.org. Also, it works lessdeath.org. That's the parent organization. So yeah, that's what I got.